This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with MTK Global. We're in LA. It's Wilder Fury Fight Week. I'm delighted to be joined by Richard Schaefer.
Hi, how are you?
Serious fight when Richard Schaefer's in town.
I don't know. But you did bring the bad weather. It's raining cats and dogs, as they say. It's pretty bad. So you can take it back home. When are you leaving?
Sunday.
Okay, good. Sun is going to come back on Monday.
Richard, I came here Monday and you could walk around in a vest. Not that I was, but you can walk around in a vest. And then suddenly, as the week's gone on, the weather has deteriorated.
Yeah.
So,
but I think we're going to see a storm. A storm is brewing for Saturday night at the Staples Center. Can't wait. Fascinating fight. I was just talking to some boxing experts, and the ones in the know really seem to give Tyson Fury quite a shot.
We'll come on to that in a second, but Joe Joyce is obviously fighting Joe Hanks this week. Joe Joyce seems to be linked with just about every heavyweight going since he turned professional.
And he's serious about it. I mean, he is really willing, ready, and
Richard,
able to.
How are you, mate?
How are you? Good to see you.
Hello, mate.
How are you, young man?
I'll give you my hand.
How are you doing?
sir.
I'm big.
That's all right.
No problem. No, I mean, he's serious. He really wants to fight everybody, and he's ready for everybody. He is an amazing talent. And, I mean, the fact that he only had 6 fights, yesterday's amateurs were not like today's amateurs. So Joe Joyce has a deep amateur background, was as an amateur fighting without headgear. So he was very well prepared to enter the pro ranks and enter the pro ranks quick and move quick, and that's what we're going to do. And for him to be on Saturday night on such a big card, on the center stage of the heavyweight division, just speaks for himself. And hopefully everything goes well on Saturday, and I hope that within the next 12 to 18 months he's going to be fighting for one of those heavyweight titles.
We know obviously Joe's got a job to do this weekend, but there has been an interest expressed in a possible fight with Gerald Miller. Is that a fight that you welcome?
Oh, we would love that fight. Big smile on my face, yes. We would love to do that fight. And so, when this is over, we are going to be I'm going to be sitting down with his management team later on today with Sam Jones and Adam Morley, and then later on in the week we are going to sit down with Joe's advisor, Al Heyman, as well. So all of us, we're going to be coming up with the right plan on how to move into exactly these kind of fights.
So, speaking to Sam Jones and Joe Joyce in an interview last night, they said that you're going to talk about potentially making an offer towards Gerald Miller.
Yes.
Will that come about this side of 2018 or possibly into next year?
Yeah, I think in 2000. No, I mean, we want to. Assuming everything, I'm always a bit hesitant, to talk about what's next when a fight is not over. In particularly the fighter, I do not like fighters to talk about what's next because somehow you overlook what's ahead of you, and in any division, but particularly in the heavyweight division, overlooking an opponent is extremely dangerous. And Hanks has 23 wins, 2 losses only, and 15 knockouts. So the guy is a big puncher. So you don't want to go and overlook him. So, but assuming everything goes well, we'll be coming up with the right plan. We're formulating the plan now. Everything goes well, we start implementing the plan in the coming weeks.
We look forward to it. The main event here, I don't know what hasn't been said about this fight, but yesterday I'm sure you kept tabs on what was going on. Bit of drama here, Richard, and there was obviously a lot of controversy around some of Deontay Wilder's comments yesterday to some of the media, but it's all adding up for Saturday.
These are 2 of the most promotable fighters in any weight class. It takes the skills in the ring, but what it takes as well, the charisma outside of the ring. And if you go from the smallest weight class, the flyweights, all the way up to the heavyweights, and you make a list of, let's say, 5 fighters who combine the skills and the charisma, I bet you and most other boxing fans would put Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury right on top of that list. And that's great. It's great that they're heavyweights, which is the glamour division, but they're so promotable, and which makes the fight that much more fun.
And obviously, the winner of this, depending on what happens in terms of a rematch clause, but there's Anthony Joshua obviously not waiting, but there's a date there in April. Can you see a possibility of one of these two facing Joshua then?
Well, I hope so, I hope so, but sometimes fights just don't get made, not only because of financial splits and things like that, but because of network affiliations as well, One guy is here, the other guy is there, who is going to be doing it, and but I think those problems can be overcome if a fight is big enough, like we've seen with Mayweather and Pacquiao. The fight was so big that HBO on one side and Showtime on the other side were able to work together and do this joint pay-per-view, and I think that's possible here with a potential Anthony Joshua fight against the winner of the fight on this Saturday. I love to see it. Fight fans love to see it, and I think if Eddie and Shelley so sit together and don't put every single conversation into the papers. I mean, Eddie announcing what kind of breakfast he had when he met with Al and with Shelley. I mean, this is like, forget it. Just go, lock yourself behind closed doors, and get the fucking fight done. I mean, it's not that difficult, and so I think if they stick to that, they'll be able to pull it off.
Have you spoke to your old friend Eddie recently, Richard?
No, I'd love to. He is making inroads here in the U.S., or at least he's trying to. I think he's realizing that it's a bit an uphill battle in the UK. The fight fans, and I always said that. I mean, I said that back when I promoted Ricky Hatton. There is no fight fans like the UK fight fans, and since then nothing has changed. They are enthusiastic. They're the best fans in the world, and I'm not saying that the American fans are not great fans, but there's so much more distraction here in the US with all these other sports like college football, professional football, baseball, soccer, basketball. I mean, the list goes on and on. They had a golf pay-per-view a week ago. So, I mean, there's all these other things going on, which makes it difficult for fight fans or for sports fans to really focus on boxing. And I think Eddie is sort of like learning that a little bit the hard way when he went to Kansas and he had like 1,800 people in the venue. And, you start looking at some of these attendance numbers. It's not the UK, but it's okay. It's a different market. You don't need to be like the UK. So, I am reaching out to my good friend Eddie Hearn. Let's get together and chat boxing.
I was in Kansas. I think the official attendance was just under 3,800.
Yeah, right.
Just so I put that in, because
right.
I was there.
Yeah,
I was there, so
Do you believe everything they tell you?
No, I was there, Richard. So
Did you count them? Did you
I'm
count
a good
them?
assessor of crowds.
Did you count them? Okay.
3,800 seems.
Well, no, I'm actually. I was referring to paid attendance. So.
Okay, but
anyway,
yeah.
so yeah.
But I mean,
well, that's great,
yeah.
But if you would do the same card in the UK, you probably have 10,000. So I mean, it's a different market, and what works in the UK doesn't necessarily work here in the US, and it's sort of like a bit of a learning experience.
But obviously, this is brand new for DAZN and Eddie with Matchroom USA. They've only been doing this for 3 months in the US, but can you see this kind of continuing, like for the long term? Can you see that continuing?
Well, if the zone has deep pockets, yes, and they seem to have deep pockets, and you'll sort of like see how long it will last. I think there's going to have to be eventually some accountability as it relates to subscriber growth. And I don't know what the numbers are. I mean, people speculating. I don't want to do that. But there is eventually, if somebody keeps writing a check, they want to see, okay, we've done it for 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, like, okay, is the subscriber growth there, and is it are we going to sort of like see the light at the end of the tunnel, meaning are we going to make some money? Nobody is just going to keep writing checks. I mean, it just doesn't, in any business, let alone boxing, it just doesn't happen. And as as my good friend Bob Arum once said, the desert is bleached is full of bleached bones of people who like to be promoters in the U.S. It's a difficult job. It's a difficult market. It's a different market. And as I said before, I welcome Eddie to come here and try his luck. And good for him. I never criticize somebody who tries to do something, and if it's in the end going to work or not, only the future will tell.
The more the merrier, as they say in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at the amount of boxing we're seeing in the United States, with the Zone doing all of these fights and televising events from overseas as well, like the World Boxing Super Series, which I think is a great platform. We've seen some great fights in the quarterfinals, and they were available here now for the Zone audience. You have Showtime stepping up in a big way. You have PBC with Fox and Fox Sports 1, and then you have Bob over there with ESPN. I mean, ESPN, the worldwide leader of sports, committing themselves to the sport the way they're doing. This is great. I mean, there is more, the more the merrier, and I think it takes these kind of efforts to advance the sport, and advance the sport in a way that when you do a card in Kansas, that you're going to have more than 1,800 people or 3,800 people in the venue, and so I think it definitely increases the visibility of the sport, and that's great.
Just one final one, Richard, just coming back to Joe Joyce. Obviously, Joe put a statement out on social media recently talking about he's no longer working with David Haye anymore. Could you make some comment on that?
Well, David and me have been longtime friends and will continue to be longtime friends. I was fortunate to promote several of his fights, including his historic win of the heavyweight title in Nuremberg against the giant Valuev. And we've been friends throughout, and will continue to do so. David has some different, is in a different stage in his life where he wants to focus on different things. And he approached me with that, and I basically assumed 100% of Joe Joyce's promotional contract, and I wish David all the best. He's a terrific guy, one of my all-time favorite fighters, but more importantly, he's just a good guy. And I very much cherish my friendship and relationship I have with him. And when he informed me that he wanted to go into a different direction within the sport of boxing, I think he's managing now Chisora and so on, and take a step back from the promotional side of things. I regretted it. I tried to talk him out of it, but he decided that that's what he wants to do at this point. And so we parted ways. We parted as friends, but we didn't really part because we're still friends.
Okay, no problem. Richard, thank you very much for your time. 2 days away now, and it should be some event at the Staples Center here in LA on Saturday, so we look forward to that.
Oh, I can't wait. And at Staples Center, I don't know what it is, but I've never seen a bad fight at Staples Center. It's amazing. It's maybe all these trophies which were won in that legendary building with the Los Angeles Lakers, with the hockey team, the Kings, the LA Kings. There are all these trophies there on display, and it brings out the best in athletes, it brings out the best in fighters. So no matter what happens, I can guarantee you it's going to be an amazing night at Staples Center. And Joe Joyce might just be the one who is going to steal the show. And I can't wait to bring Joe back to the UK so that the UK fight fans can see him live as well.
Richard, thank you very much.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Same to you.